Hi, everybody. Welcome to day 90 of Sefer Hamitzvot, where we continue to discuss inappropriate relations between two, I'm not even going to say people, because the first mitzvah we're going to do is bestiality. So my preface for today is, when we learn the laws of harchakos, the physical separation between husband and wife during nida, the way I like to look at it is from all the things we're told not to do, we learn the things that we are supposed to do. So as I'm learning all of these, so many, okay, there's so many, I'm sure someone knows the number out there, but there's a lot of specific sexual acts that are written out in the Torah. Not allowed, very not allowed, capital punishment, very severe. And I'm thinking, okay, we get it. But one of the things I'm taking from it is by Torah emphasizing over and over again how anything that's outside of the realm of what sexual relations is supposed to be, which is the ultimate bond between husband and wife in the context of marriage, in the context of Hashem's blessings, with mikvah, which again is bringing holiness in. Anything outside of that is off, right? Is more than off. But by God emphasizing over and over again, do not do it this way, do not do it this way, it's a constant. It's a very strong reminder. If you're not doing this, but what should you do? You should be married. You should give your all to your marriage. And the intimate relationship of husband and wife is critical, is powerful. It is the holiest, godliest thing. And that's one of the points I want to mention today. Okay. So mitzvah negative 348 is bestiality for a man. The pasuk is v'chol behema le'sitein shech bascha. A male is forbidden from having sexual relations with an animal, whether the animal is male or female. Again, all of these things are punished by capital punishments, by the Beis Din, by the courts, if everything aligns, that there were witnesses, etc., and he was warned. Again, capital punishment has not been capitaled in centuries, basically never. But it's again to emphasize the point of how bad it is. If the court couldn't be involved because only God knows what happened, he is punished by courage, which is being cut off. If it was done unintentionally, you bring a sin offering. This is I'm not going to review it every time, but this is the punishment for all the things we're going to say today. Okay, negative 349 is bestiality for a woman. It's brought down as a separate mitzvah. A woman is forbidden from allowing animals to have sexual relations with them. So the pasuk says, the woman shouldn't stand for an animal so that he can mate with her, because again, the man is the active mate, right? Mating, and the woman is the recipient, which again, in the beautiful context, is a beautiful, huge, so much that we take from that. Okay, next, mitzvah negative 350, and I know that this is very sensitive in today's day and age, but when it comes to Torah, Torah is the truth, and even if we have a hard time understanding it on an emotional level, the truth is the truth. I'll say what the mitzvah is, and I'll give a little commentary. So negative mitzvah 350 is their prohibition for male homosexuality. The mitzvah is, which means do not lie with a man as you would with a woman, since this is a disgusting perversion. It's repeated a second time, meaning it's not considered a separate mitzvah. It's one negative commandment, but there's a different pasuk that tells us about this, which is, there shall not be a prostitute among Jewish men. So, bottom line is our culture has lent itself to this idea where we have become not only okay with homosexuality, but it's being applauded and it's being paraded, literally. And it's funny, like, I am way more comfortable in public talking about, of course, intermarriage, which is a very sensitive discussion, especially in certain communities where I have a lot of friends that have Chabad houses where almost everyone in their community is intermarried. Now, of course, you engage in them. The Jew deserves positive Jewish experience, just like everyone else. But it's much harder to talk about intermarriage when everyone at your shop's table is married to somebody not Jewish or dating somebody not Jewish, right? Yet I would be way more comfortable talking about that way more comfortable talking about abortion. I would say these are like the hot topic buttons. When it comes to homosexuality, I don't know if this is a negative on my part, but it has become so like you don't even talk about it. Like no one's almost given a right to have the position on it. But again, we are Torah followers. So what I will say is like this. Do people have, what we call the Yetzer or inclinations 100%? God made them that way. I always, and this is what Torah teaches, just make a distinction between the person and the act, right? The problem is people so identify it as them. You're not accepting me because you're not accepting my sexual choices. No, you are a piece of God. You're perfect. You deserve all of my love and all of my respect as a human being. This choice, this action it's not that my approval is not necessary, but that is not something I'm ever going to say, check, sure, no problem, whatever makes you feel good. So I don't know if it's easy for people to understand that, but with every mitzvah, with everything, you are you. The thing that you do is separate from you. There's this fascinating idea, which I love, is that when we call somebody, when someone becomes obligated to do mitzvah, right? They're a bar mitzvah or a bas mitzvah, which literally means the son of a mitzvah or the daughter of a mitzvah. And yet when somebody does an avera, when somebody does a sin, what do we call it? We call it a bal avera, which means the husband, the spouse of an avera. What's the difference? A mitzvah is who you really are, right? A child can never divorce their parent, even if they have a terrible relationship. You can't divorce your parent. Your parent is who you are. It's your DNA. So a mitzvah, a bar mitzvah, a bas mitzvah, you can't divorce it. That's you. That's your essence. That's who you really are. However, if you do an avera, if you do a sin, it's a bal avera. You could divorce a spouse. We don't want it. It's a separate conversation. But at the end of the day, a spouse is two separate individuals. And there is a possibility. You can never, ever divorce a parent, even if you never talk to them your entire life. You're always going to be, your DNA is one and the same. But when it comes to an avera, that's not who you really are. And that's how we look at it. So, do we all know someone who is in this category of lifestyle? We do. But again, we follow the Torah. That's it. And another thing I want to point out before I go to the last one for today is I think some of these illegal relations, you come across, you're like, yeah, obviously that's gross, right? Like bestiality or sleeping with one another, which, by the way, the Yetzer Hara took away some of them because it was too difficult for us to, there's a story on that in a second, but it actually was. Incest was taken away as a Yetzer Hara for us. So for most of us, we can't even imagine, right? But what's so powerful of learning that is the same way everyone has their thing where like, no, ew, no, right? And for other things that are not okay, we don't have that same reaction. But just knowing intellectually that I had that reaction towards certain relations, okay, that means it can be applied to other relations, even if I instinctively don't have that reaction. Okay, enough said on that for now. I guess I'll add one more thing. I empathize deeply with anyone who struggles with such a big, I think it's a very big struggle, and my heart goes out. Okay, negative 351, father-son incest. So the pasuk is, Erev Savicha Le'Segala, do not commit a sexual offense against your father. A father and son are not allowed to be together. Somebody who does this is breaking two laws, this and also general homosexuality between two men. All right, let's go into Shabbos. Shabbos is a day of holiness. It brings out the holiness instead of all of us. We're in the middle of learning in Rabbah the laws in the book of holiness, and that's why we discuss all the things that might strip away some of our holiness from what's really going inside of us. So have a wonderful Shabbos, and we'll see you all next week.